turn the slide that was a little different than the other slides that we had about the problem of free will and determinism. This is more or less a worksheet on free will and determinism. And here the whole thing is filled out right in front of you if you want to check it, but let's just make sure we understand what's going on. With regard to the problem of free will and determinism, the way to explain the problem is that there were three propositions, three statements that many of us think are all true. Or if we don't think about it a lot, we sometimes think all true, or maybe at different times we agree that all three of these are true. First of all, we think we act freely. Somebody smacks you in the face, you get mad, and maybe you smack them back or something. So you hold them responsible because you think they acted of their own volition. We act freely, number one. Second thing is, we all think that every event has a cause, right? We discussed this. That's what scientists are looking for. They're looking for the causes, what brings certain things about. They're looking for laws of nature that explain that certain kinds of things cause certain other kinds of things. But the idea is, if our actions, and this is where we get number three, what number three is telling us, if our actions are just another event, like everything else in the universe, and it has a cause, then our actions have a cause. But if our actions have a cause, we couldn't have done any differently, so we really don't act freely. So that's what the third proposition is, that 1 and 2 cannot both be true. Now, here's just to sketch out, we can sketch out the positions you could take with regard to this problem by saying which of the three we reject and which other two you would hold. Now, a libertarian is somebody who thinks that the first one is true, that is, we do act freely. And as a result, he thinks that, as a result of believing that the third is also true, that freedom, acting freely, and being caused is incompatible, what the libertarian rejects is that every event has a cause. Why does he have to reject that, or what does he say? He says there are certain events that do not have another event that's causing them, namely our free actions. Okay, that's how we. So the idea is, when we say every event has a cause, it means every event is caused by another event. Well, our free actions are kind of special in that way, and that no other events that precede them cause them to happen. Now, a determinist, the other extreme end, says that, hey, disagrees with liberty. He says, number two, every event has a cause, namely it has another event that precedes it and causes it, is true. And I agree with you that number three is true. That's what the determinist tells the libertarian. 1 and 2 can't both be true. You can't, if every event is caused, then all your actions are caused, so you can't do otherwise, so you're not acting freely. So he says 2 and 3 are true, but what's false is number 1. It's an illusion. We like to believe that we're free. Maybe it makes us feel good. Maybe we feel like big shots. I don't know why, but I don't know what really the explanation is, but in fact, we never act freely, is what the determinist said. And then the final position you can take is you can be a compatibilist. Notice the name compatibilist, like from the word compatible, that you try to make the two compatible, and that's sometimes called a soft determinist. So the determinist that we just talked about might be called a hard determinist as opposed to a soft determinist. And what the compatibilist focuses on is really the third proposition, that 1 and 2 can't both be true. He says, no, that's false. We can make them compatible. We act freely. Our actions are like everything else. They're caused by events that they're just another event. They're caused by events in front of them. And then they have something else to explain that we've talked about, namely how can we act freely if our actions are caused? And what they try to explain is free actions are ones that have special kinds of causes, causes that are maybe within our minds, acts of willing. And they have some explaining to do there. But those are the three positions that you have, and that's how this particular slide was supposed to be filled out. And now we'll turn to the slide that looks like the other ones that we've dealt with to see how we fill that one out for the problem of freedom and determinism.